Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk. This is a show where we talk with top indie creators about whatever the heck I thought up in the middle of the week. And today we have some familiar faces returning and brand new person. So Javon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's going on? You guys can hear me?
Yes.
All right. My name is Javon Stokes. I am a writer, artist, creator, publisher. I run Visually Stoked Media. I've created Heat and Strong, two titles that have been around for at least Heat has been around for 10 plus years. I'm also a podcaster and a Comic-Con mediator. So, nice. And a huge vet of the Comic-Con circuit. So,
yep. Very cool. So are you doing San Diego Comic-Con?
I've never done San Diego. That is on the list of cons that I have never vended. That's on a list of cons I've never vended or actually attended. So
okay.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's such a pain to get in. They promise you, we'll get you in if you do this con or that con, and they're like, they waitlist you. And then on waitlist, they'll send you a message 2 days before the con, like you're in. Now for me, I can do it because I'm local in California, but most people can't just on 2 days book a whole trip to San Diego. So
I'm in Connecticut. That would be impossible.
That's not working. And for me, it's a 90-minute drive, so I can always do it. And then the other thing is they'll put you on the wait list. You get there and you see 10 empty tables in small press, and you think, all right, what the heck? I'm on the wait list. So I go talk to someone and they're like, oh yeah, we can't get you in there. Sorry. So they just let the table stay empty. So they need to figure some things out logistically, but it is a great con to do. I mean, you do it and you'll sell books like you've never imagined you could sell. And that's even, with 80% of the people just there for the Hollywood panels and everything. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. One day, I figure it'll make it. I'll make my way there when I'm supposed to.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So Dees, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? I am Dees. I am a stand-up comedian, writer, creator of Kill Stan, owner of Inferno Comics, and podcaster, host of the Social Hour. New episodes most Wednesdays. We've been on hiatus for a while because my website crashed, but we're back.
Yeah, I got to book myself on your show then, so I can start promoting my own thing pretty soon.
Yeah, my website's got completely wiped, so I've been rebuilding, and I have about 4 hours a week to spend on that, and it's it's been 2 months trying to get this thing back together. So anyway, we'll get you on, man.
Yeah, just like we were talking about backstage, like all we need is just someone to run all that stuff for us. Right? Life would be so much easier if someone did all that nonsense. Like, all right, there's the web builder. He's going to do that. And then, here's my social media manager. She's going to handle all that. And no, instead we're wearing all the hats and some of them poorly. So, man.
Yeah, just doing my best, man.
Yeah, that's all you can do. All right, Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Sean Wood. I am the writer for the Fog Within series. We're on issue 5 now. I also have the Recon Universe. There's some one-shots of that. And also the Scaled Key is my other series. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon.
Yes. None of us ever do. We just keep releasing stuff, and it's just like, oh, wait, now I have 4 series that are active. And it's like, I should have thought this through, but thinking it through would have when none of us would be talking right now.
Yeah, we would never have started if we thought this through.
Yeah, thoughts aren't good things when you're in the comic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think comic creators are all impulsive. Everyone I've met, and it's just like, oh, good, I have a great idea. I'm going to turn this into a script, and I'm going to hire an artist. I'm going to make a book. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Now I have to juggle another book. And people,
yeah, that's the better question.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay
later?
for it?
It's fine.
Yeah, how am I going to pay for this?
I think I picked the wrong topics for today. It's like, what? Here's the topic. What were we thinking? So we could spend the whole hour just on that.
Oh man!
First of all, how dare you?
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm right there with you. So let's get to our first actual topic of the day, and that is the future of comic shops. So I'm looking at everything's going digital. Younger audiences are collecting mangas, and what's going to happen? How do comic shops stay afloat? How do they meet these new expectations? So what do you think the future of shops is? So what do you think, Javon?
Honestly, I think like anything else, I think there needs to be a little bit of diversification. It's not enough to just be a comic book shop that only has, Marvel and DC. I think a lot of comic book shops, especially ones I've seen, have kind of, added a little more. They've emphasized manga more. A lot of them have, become coffee shops, or brought in other types of memorabilia. There's one in Connecticut here that has a lot of like clothing and music and stuff like that. Like, I think you can't just lean on comics anymore. You have to be more than that. I have a friend who, shout out to, what's his name? Sean. I think it's Sean. If I'm wrong, sorry. But he does, he has a barbershop / comic book shop. And he's, from my understanding, he's doing really well, but it's just, you have to do more. And it's not, unfortunately, it's not fair, but this isn't the 90s anymore.
No, that boom is gone. And if comic shops don't want to adapt, they're going to go the way of baseball card shops. I mean, I remember there was a baseball card shop on every corner back in the 80s and 90s, more than comic shops, in fact. And, that's all now known as the junk wax era for baseball cards, where every company overproduced and they were just living this beautiful thing. And then when the fact that they only had baseball cards and they weren't willing to do anything else, that's why they're all gone. So comic shops, you're right, they need to adapt. And there's multiple ones that do other things, and Funko Pops aren't going to save them anymore, because it used to be like, we'll just stock a shit ton of Funko Pops and we'll be just fine. Well, not anymore. People, the bubble is burst. They've gone the way of the Beanie Babies, and you have to think of other things. So yeah, barbershop, coffee shop, I've seen those. Record store, I've seen some of those where they have record store / comic shop. So I think it's going to be / comic shop is going to be what the future looks like from what you're saying. I agree, but it's, well, if they want to stay the way of the dinosaur, like, we will just sell comics, we have integrity won't pay the bills, sadly, because like you said, also just Marvel, DC, Image isn't going to pay the bills, because kids want manga. You got to have a nice thick manga section, because that's what brings my children in the door. It's not, they're not looking for the new Spider-Man, the new Superman. They want the new My Hero Academia or something like that. So if you don't have it, you're gonna fall apart as well. So what do you think, Dees? How are comic shops gonna save themselves?
Well, first of all, we're all gonna be in a digital AI data center getting sexually assaulted by Peter Thiel soon. So it doesn't, what does it matter? Where there's gonna be no comic book shops. No, but I mean, really, I think we comic books just survived the 90s. It's been since the late 80s. They've, comic books are going to be dead soon. Print is dead. And, there's been ebbs and flows, and we're definitely going to see a shift. I think, Javon makes a good point. People, these hybrid stores, you're going to see more of that. Yeah. But we've also seen, this recent trend of DC adapting with the compact comics, which has been great. Getting younger readers in, making it that manga size. And what DC is so smart about right now is their marketing is so important. And all they had to do was make it the size of manga, because kids are stupid. So they were very easily tricked, I mean, you think about like a soda can, right? Like a 12-ounce soda can. It's short, it's fat, it feels unhealthy. Now, if you make that 12-ounce soda can the tall, skinnier, like Celsius can, it's the same ounces, but it feels healthier for some reason, right? Like, the marketing of what DC is doing right now is genius. That's getting kids in the store, and there's there is more manga there also. But I think print will never be dead. It's like, there's still record stores around.
Yeah.
As much as it's an antiquated format, and people went to tapes, then they went to CDs, and then they went to digital.
Mhm.
And then people like, oh, records are still cool. So I think there's going to be this like renaissance soon of kids being like, oh, like old comics are cool, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that trend will come because, you know, I don't know how old the rest of the people are, but I've certainly lived on this planet long enough to see trends come back around.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
20, 25 years, kids are like, oh, what's that thing that my, you know, that two generation, like a generation before my parents were doing, you know?
Mhm.
So it'll be different. It's not going to be, it'll never be the salad days again. But I
No.
think comic books will always still exist and have a place as print media, as long as the publishers offer that. Because DC and Marvel would love to kill their print lines if they could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they would absolutely. That's people. Don't be foolish. If Disney and Warner Brothers could kill their print media, they would in a heartbeat. It's just a lost leader to sell you backpacks and shitty movies.
Yeah.
But you know, that's really the only reason that still exists. But otherwise, I mean, print media will always be there.
It'll persevere because, like you said, the trends come back. And my youngest daughter is collecting vinyl now, and there was a moment in time where vinyl was it was only at garage sales. It was only at thrift stores. Nobody wanted it. You could buy a record player for, you know, pennies, and now that same record player is going to cost you $500,
right?
Because everybody wants the vintage record player and they want a vintage receiver to play it on. And for a while, they were just trying to give them away. You could go to any garage sale, any thrift store, and find a huge amount of these things. Now they are, you know, high-end things on eBay. So everything comes back, and the kids always find they find their way back to everything, it seems like. So
I mean, as things shift more digital in life, it also pushes people back towards analog because they fight against that.
Yeah.
You know, that changed so much. People want that physical connection still, because so much of our life is digital. They reach out for other things that are still tangible. It's just like a natural, innate, you know, lizard.
See it, feel it, smell it, have it exist in the world, not scroll through it on your computer. So I think you're right, and I think kids are kind of going backwards and wanting it. And those, like you said, those DC volumes are so smart because they're taking their best stories and presenting them like a manga, so the kids want to grab them, and they're finding the best stories that DC has to offer. So
I mean,
it's a smart way.
I would jump in. I'm sorry, but I mean,
please.
There's the manga size, but there's the manga prices. It's actually affordable.
Yeah, they're $10.
Read comics without
trade.
You know, and still work at Sonic, right?
Yeah.
So, that's huge.
DC's priced their compacts well. Marvel hasn't figured that out yet. But I mean, the DC compacts are like $9.99 also, I think, right?
Yeah, they're $9.99, so it's the same price as a manga volume that you're going to grab. So, and it's color, although kids don't tend to care about color. That's what I found is they'd rather have it just be black and white. But, you know, for us, I want it to be in color. Because I remember when Marvel and DC were thinking, all right, we're going to print these phone book-sized volumes of our books, but they're going to be black and white, so they're cheaper. And as someone who grew up with color comics, I'm like, I don't want that. Where's those beautiful colors that were done, you know, back in the 60s and 70s? So it was something I didn't want.
Those essentials were cool because at least, like, you know, if it was an access point to books you might not be able to find or afford when you were young. You know, like I got to reread all the early X-Men stuff before I could actually find or afford the back issues. So, but it's not the same when you read it in black and white. You're kind of like, wait, who's that character again? You know? So.
It's missing something where the kids wouldn't care if it was missing that. It's like they should do two versions, one in black and white, and they'd be right at home with those. But I mean, it's smart, and it's a way to keep comic shops afloat. So what do you think, Sean? How are comic shops going to look different in the future?
Yeah, so I mean, y'all said a lot of good points that I was already thinking about too. But with the diversification part, I mean, the ones in my area, because we have a ton of them, and they've all stayed open for 30 plus years, is the community events. Always doing that, always doing tournaments of some kind of card game, and having the comics there as well. Those are the ones that are thriving, and the ones that everyone's always talking about on the social media and always meeting up, meeting new faces, and they're also the ones carrying the manga as well and everything.
Yeah.
They're seeing what works elsewhere and then trying to put it towards comics. That's the big thing, is the community events, I think. Because they're always doing stuff like every weekend. There's one called Atomic Comics Emporium down the street from me, and it's a massive warehouse looking place, and they're packed every weekend, which is always cool to see. So.
Yeah, and that's those tournaments that for any of the, I mean, they do it for all the different card games, and I know that there's the new Marvel or like Disney card game that's come out, and they do tournaments for that, and every weekend you're doing that. And this comic shop I'm thinking of in San Diego, they sell vintage toys, current toys, they have a pizza shop, and they run the tournaments, and they sell comics. So they have a little bit of everything that you might want. So maybe you don't want comics, but you want to take a pizza home, you have that. So I guess, diversifying as many ways as possible, kind of like Javon was saying with barbershop / comic shops. Like, no, everything's got to exist in different ways. Because even with, the different ways of selling it, now you sell manga, but kids can walk into Barnes and Noble and get that same manga, and they're walking around a center, because that's what my daughter always wants to do. Like, Dad, just drop me off at this plaza and I just want to walk around. So she doesn't need to go to a comic shop for that, because there's a bookstore to do it with. But if you could go there and like, okay, we want to go to that comic shop, and we're going to all get a slice of pizza and hang out and then go play a tournament of Magic, it's a reason to get them in the door, even the youth market, because that's the one comic shops need to grab. They got us old people. We've been here for years, but you need to get the youth. You need to get those high schoolers wanting to hang out in a comic shop.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you about the high schoolers. I think what you really need to get is kids.
Yeah, young kids. Start with
like
the young.
The younger you get kids hooked on something, like the longer they'll stay attached to it.
True.
Teenagers, and I've raised teenagers, they ebb and flow so much.
Yeah, that's true.
They could love this thing one day and then never touch it again. My daughter, my stepdaughter used to love wrestling. She used to love WWE wrestling. She would sit with me and watch it. That lasted for like 3 months. But she was reading, she was doing video games and stuff from like a kid, and she's still doing video games.
Yeah.
Like, you get them invested, you get them hooked in as children, like when I say children, I mean like right at the age where they're starting to read. Yeah. They will, I would say the good majority of them will stay along with it. But I agree with the idea that, and I hope my air conditioner isn't too loud, guys.
No, it's fine.
I do think that DC had a great idea with the manga sized editions. But I think the best way to get that we love manga crowd is, I think the way that comic books market is terrible in how they want to get people into a particular story. Yeah. So the example I always use is like, if a kid says, I like the Incredible Hulk, how would you tell them where to start? Yeah, because you wouldn't say, well, go all the way back to issue number 1. I've always said they need to market based on the creator. Right? Yeah. So like, we're going to I would get, if somebody wanted to, get involved with the Incredible Hulk, I would find either the first Peter David trade and then give them all the Peter David trades, or the Immortal Hulk run. Yeah. Was it Al Ewing, I want to say. And then give them that run. So just give them runs of books. Like, that's how Marvel and DC should be marketing their books, as opposed to, and they actually, and DC, to their credit, is actually doing with the absolute,
they're doing pretty good with
the
those.
Absolute Batman and the Absolute Wonder Woman, Superman. They're starting over.
Yeah, you can start it at number 1.
Right. And I think Marvel should be doing, like, they should be selling, Ultimate Spider-Man, the Bendis and Bagley run. That should have been, manga size for years ago. Yeah. They could sell hotcakes of that right now. So I think that it has to be a marrying. Like, it can't just be the comic book shops, because they can only do so much. So yes, they can diversify. They should actually take a look at Comic-Cons and basically make themselves a smaller version of a Comic-Con.
Yeah. Why not?
to you got to give me your name. I'm pointing the wrong way. What's your name?
Sean?
Sean.
Yeah.
To Sean, talking about doing events every week. If you can translate the if you could translate the Comic-Con experience into a singular, area, like if I had a comic book store, I would try to have a comic book creator in there every week.
Yeah.
Selling their books, talking to people. I would have events every week. So you can have tournaments. You can have, we're gonna do a sale on this day where you buy two, get one free. Like you have to do a better job of reaching out to the community and making a presence for yourself, so that people know. Like, you should have a table if they're doing smaller events in your city. You should have somebody at a table, telling people where you are, giving away free crap. And then the big companies have to do a better job of giving easily accessible, comics and stories, so that when somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I like Batman, give me something with Batman." Okay, cool. Take Absolute Batman, or Scott Snyder's first run with the Court of Owls, or if they're a fan of what's the big movie coming out, or that just came out.
I know Supergirl's coming. Supergirl's coming next.
There should be a anime sized, or just a run of super. You could do Peter David's run.
I think they got Women of Tomorrow.
Yeah, they put that one, and that's what the movie's based on. So that was the smart thing. You got your $9.99 manga size one of those, and
pimping that hard.
Yes, that's what they need, and they did it for a little bit during the boom of MCU. They did it for a little bit, but it's almost like they relaxed on their laurels, and it's like I think they felt like they got all the new readers that they're gonna get.
Yeah,
well, I think what the biggest problem is, and this is more Marvel's problem than anyone right now, I would say, is that they don't know what audience they're trying to capture. They're trying to capture everyone, and they end up missing everyone, because instead of making, okay, this is for adults, this is for kids, they make something that the main demographic of people buying these are adults, probably people in their late 30s to early 40s, that males. That's comic book's biggest demo. But then they also start making that same book accessible to kids, and it's like, you can't really do that. You're gonna alienate one of them. You have to have different lines, or different they used to do in the 90s, early 2000s. They had like a separate universe of kids lines of comics, like Adventures of Spider-Man, Hulk Adventures, and things like that.
Superhero Girls was what my kids read when they were younger, so that was DC characters, doing that with them.
Right, and that made more sense. Or have it's like Miss Marvel is a comic book that was aimed for teen girls, or Spider-Gwen, and did great for that. It's like that book is not geared towards 45-year-old dudes. If you want to read it, I don't care, but that's different books are for different people, and that's okay. But they should gear them that way, instead of being like, this is for everyone, because then you also miss the mark on everyone.
Yeah. All right, Justin, welcome to the show. And
Hi.
What's your first off, introduce yourself.
I'm Justin Koch. I'm the author of SWAT, Eldritch Blue, which is a Kickstarter that we're promoting right now. About 80% done, so it'll make most likely. And I've been writing comics. I've been writing my whole life. I've been writing comics for the last 4 or 5 years. It's been a real major fit. I wish I'd started it way earlier. I wish it's what I did at the beginning and just kept doing it. Yeah. Because all my novels, I turned out a lot of novels that no one read. And they really should have just been comics. It would have been way better for everybody.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure. Yeah. And then what's your take on this? We're talking about what is the future of comic shops going to be? We've come up with a lot of different theories. We should all just open a comic shop now, because we know what to do.
Joint venture.
Well, I mean, I keep hearing great news about graphic novel sales being up, but the DC Compact stuff, I'm a huge fan of those. I've read almost all of them at this point. It's really been a fun way to get into it without committing too much, uh, money to it. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the manga thing. I think we need to be more focused on making it economically accessible, because I spend so much money on comics. Like I would not be able to do this when I was busting tables at CC's Pizza or some crap. Right. Like, it's just too much of a expensive of a hobby. So I'm a big fan of the DC Compact. And I think there ought to be more and more of that. And
books on a budget, because if you want the kids, they're getting allowance to buy these books. And I know I teach third grade, and I see the enthusiasm kids have for the graphic novels that they can get from a Scholastic book, catalog, or I guess the little flyers. And it's Dogman, it's Raina Telgemeier stuff, Smile, Sisters, Drama, and that's hooking them. And like Javon was saying, that's hooking them young. They're little third graders who want to read, but now Marvel needs to think, okay, what can we do to get them to love our characters and order from a Scholastic magazine? So that was when my kids were growing up, it was Superhero Girls. That's the one I remember the most, where it was a kid version of Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and I think it was Batgirl. And of course, they had toys to go with it. So they not only wanted the books, they wanted the toys. And it was smart, because then you would hope that it moves them forward into readers of those main titles when they're older. But that's a way to hook the kids. I mean, Scholastic, but Marvel, as someone who's been teaching for a lot of years, Marvel and DC aren't doing it well. They do it in waves. Like, oh, here's Superhero Girls, and they're all the kids are liking it, they're buying it, and then it just disappears. And in the meantime, Dogman is on its feels like its 50th volume, and the kids, oh, there's a new Dogman, and they are rushing to get that. And they don't have that same enthusiasm for, oh, there's a new Supergirl, and they're not rushing the same way. So Marvel needs to market, and Marvel and DC need to market their stuff the way that they're marketing Dogman and Captain Underpants and all these different books, because that's what the kids care about. And Raina Telgemeier stuff, they want that bad, and it's there for them. They just need to do it right.
I also think we should focus on. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll go for it real quick.
No, go ahead.
Stop focusing on those two, and like the rest of the indie scene has a lot to offer here.
Yeah.
But like I bought Lumberjanes. This is fun series for kids, but it was $40 a volume.
Yeah.
So the friend's kid that I was buying it for got lucky, because I like buying books, so I got her the whole set. But that's too, once again, my allowance when I was a kid was $5 a week.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to buy that when you're paying just allowance.
Yeah, that was a comic issue was $1.75 back then in the olden times. So it was either that or a Louis L'Amour book, that would last me an entire week. Yeah. So, the economics of it did drive me away from being into comics. Like, that's literally why I didn't do it. If I, so that is a huge factor in it.
Price is huge.
But also, God bless, but I mean, there's other things besides superheroes that we can be doing with comics as well.
Oh yeah, that's why they love the Raina Telgemeier stuff. Hers is not superhero based. These are autobiographical stories that she wrote about her childhood. And I have kids who will read those books 20 times in a school year. They love it. And she hasn't released a new book for a while, because when she does, they're going to flock to it. Then there's the Amulet series. That's another one that's written for young readers. And when new volumes would come out, I mean, I'd put them in my classroom library, and they would be devoured until the pages fell out, and I'd buy another one. Bone is another one that it started as a full indie comic, got bought up by Scholastic, and the kids are crazy for. So there's stuff that's not superhero that came from indie roots that the kids love, and Scholastic just buys them up and sells them in their catalogs and binds them poorly, so they do fall apart. So yeah, don't get me started on Scholastic book stuff, but it's kids loving reading, and that's the win. So
yeah, that was
and they are inexpensive, so that's another good thing.
No, I was just saying that was going to be my point. We do focus on the big two a lot, and I'm like everybody here. Like, I love comics, I love Marvel, I love DC, I love comics, but like, I do think, and to Justin's point, I think part of it is the reason why kids, at least I believe, I think that the kids rush to the Dogmans and all the other stuff is because it's theirs, right?
Yes.
Like it's something they discovered. You know, Spider-Man and Superman and all that. They've always been there, but this is theirs. And like,
Yes.
so Dogman is like, my son loves Dogman. You know, he'll read, you know, and he, when he discovers something, it's like they take ownership, and then they want to, you know, get it all the time. Whereas like we are the old fogies screaming about Spider-Man and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I've always said, and obviously it's a little very self-serving, but the indie comic scene is the future of comics. Like that's where you'll get the I don't want to blow our respective heads up, but that's where you get the cutting edge, the out of box, you know, ideas that, you know, wouldn't fly at the big two.
No,
you're going to find it at the indie scene because that creator can do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah, it's uncompromised.
Yeah, there's no compromise. It's unfiltered creativity just flying at your head, and concepts that can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So then that's why you'll get, you know, a Bone. That sounds so terrible. That's why you'll get Bone, and that
you heard it here, guys. Javon wants to give kids Bone. So we quote that.
That'll be clipped real quick.
Yeah, well.
No, but that's when you get these characters and concepts and creations that can captivate their imagination because they've seen superheroes and they've seen it forever. The Marvel, and we use Marvel, and I use Marvel a lot because Marvel has the comics and the movies that are just in our face all the time. You know, the kids have grown up on that, and they and my son loves the MCU. He's looking forward to Spider-Man movie, but he loves Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah.
And I have tried to wrap my brain around what the hell it is, but it's so bonkers that
it's out of hand. I get all of it because of teaching. You get all these cycles moving in, and I think what you're talking about, their ownership, that's huge. Because look at the Minecraft movie. None of us probably wanted to see that movie. I still don't want to see it, but my daughters both wanted to see it multiple times. And they were filming in the movie theater at the people screaming at the screen and all that. So it's theirs. They own it. It's not Masters of the Universe. They don't give a shit about He-Man. They don't need to go see that. They never will. That's for me. That's for Gen Xers. They're trying to market that to our kids. And my daughter's like, I don't know those characters. I don't care. And they didn't go to see it, and that's why it's not making enough money. Where the Minecraft movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, these are their IP. This is what they own and love, and that's why they are passionately seeing it 4 or 5 times in theaters, which is what we used to do. First the Star Wars movies, I was old enough to see, or young enough to see those in the theaters, and I wanted my dad to take me over and over again. I think I saw Ghostbusters 5 times in the movie theater because there was no like, oh, I'll just watch it when it goes to streaming in a week and a half.
Yeah.
It was mine, and I loved it, and I owned it, and that's what the kids are finding. Even though they know Minecraft will be streaming in a month and a half, they still want to see it in the theaters for that experience. And yeah, we're way off topic, but that's how this show goes. So,
well, I would just add to what Javon said. I think it's, you know, indie is so important, and kids want that because it's theirs. The unfortunate part of it is it's the least accessible for kids.
Yeah.
You know, because like we're tucked in these weird little corners. It's more expensive. It's not on every rack. It's not in their face. So like, you know, the Marvel and DC stuff is these things we talk about so much because it's ubiquitous and everywhere.
Yeah.
And easily accessible. Like the indie stuff, it's the best, it's the most cutting edge, but it also is the hardest to find, you know, the hardest to dig through because, you know, most of us are lucky if we're in a couple stores, let alone any. So you're just online or some weird convention in a town you would never spend time in otherwise. And things like that. So it's like this is what they love, but how do we get it to them? You know?
Yeah, they're not buying it in a Scholastic book fair, and that's the thing. I mean, Bone, yes, its roots are indie. He was selling it out of his living room. He was literally doing what we do, but just getting it into comic shops as best he could. Ninja Turtles, same thing. These come from true indie roots, but now they can go in Scholastic and you walk in the book fair in the graphic novel section and there's Bone, there's Ninja Turtles, all these things. They can get them very easily, where in the beginning the kids wouldn't have got them. And generally the kids going to cons aren't walking through small press. They're not walking through Artist Alley looking for the next book to wow them. They're
walking through. Right through.
Yeah, through. There you go. They're not stopping at tables, and they're moving straight through. And I have had a few kids that just really want to read my book, and I try to discourage them, like it's got a lot of bloody content. And I get the parents like, oh, I let them watch Terrifier. You're fine. So I was like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
And you hope you can hook them in. You know, granted, their parents need to rethink some of their decisions, but I'm not here to worry about that.
I do think there's a correlation between, and I've been using this for a long time, comics in the music industry.
Yeah.
I've been, when you think about, like, you have the big labels and you have the indie guys, but I also think, to our conversation, like, I don't like anything my daughters like music. Yes. But that's their artists. They
love it. Yeah.
Discovered them. They own them. They run, they go with them. Whereas I feel like when I was growing up, I had my people. Like, I loved, I'm a big Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, but also I'm a big R&B, Boyz II Men, Jodeci, whatever. Yeah. But my mother loved Stevie Wonder and everything like that. Yeah. So, but I was able, it was almost like she educated me on those, artists, and I began to love those because of them. Whereas I think there's a larger disconnect between my generation and my daughter and my son's generation. And so they don't have that education. They just care about what they care about. Yeah. And I think that's where we are in comics right now, which is why anime is so big. Yeah. They care about anime. They don't care about, the ones that don't care about superheroes do not care about superheroes whatsoever.
No, nothing's going to convince them.
No, there's no. So, and I think we're in a kind of a disconnect era. So that's why, I think that's why, to me, I think indie is the great bridge. Yes. Because there's so many of the anime concepts that are, baked into the indie stream that I think we really should be all helping each other out. But unfortunately, it's a lot of war.
Everyone's on their own island, and stay off my island or I'll bomb you.
Anime. So
yeah, you're right. And I think we raise a lot of good points as we have drifted very far off topic. And so cool and cute, I guess, are what kids want. And well, hopefully we figure it out, and hopefully indie does become the wave of the future. Because I mean, right now it's kind of the big 2+ Image. They're running everything. And Justin was talking about Lumberjanes, and that was a book my daughter got really hooked on. And like you said, it's expensive to buy. They should be doing those in the smaller size. And it was actually a book used in one of our reading anthologies in 6th grade. So, I mean, here it is. They're giving it to them. And then you're like, you love this? Sorry, you can't afford it. So they need to do better at getting it in people's hands, because that's not a Marvel or DC. So, yeah, that we've gone a long way.
I've looked into how much it costs to print those the DC compacts. And I mean, they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, even in relatively small runs, the profit margin is definitely there for it.
That's what they should be doing, more of those, and especially if you're licensing it to an anthology book for 6th graders. Make sure that those same 6th graders can afford it once they read that first issue and love it, and now they want more. And it's kind of like, oh wow, that volume's $20. I don't have $20 because, again, what's a kid getting? $5 a week allowance. They're not going to save a month to read the rest of that book. It's just going to disappear from their mind.
Yeah.
All right. So new topic. We made it. It's 40 minutes in, and we made it to topic number 2. But this one should be a little easier because the last one had a lot of talking points, and we're the future. Who knows what it's going to look like, but it's not going to look the same as the 90s. That much is certain. So now we're going to talk about the best comic movie. There's a million of them to choose from, but which one do you consider the best? So Javon, what do you think is the best comic movie?
The best
one that you love, and it doesn't need to be good, just one that you love for different reasons.
Man, that's tough. That's really tough. There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I would say the best one that felt like a comic book to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say best. Best is too hard. So I'm going to say
Okay.
the one that felt more like a comic book.
Most authentic. We'll go with that.
Yeah, most authentic. Due to the absurdity of it and the nostalgia of it. To me, Avengers Endgame felt like a 90s crossover
Mm-hmm.
where you just picked up part 4 of 22 and you're like, wait, what's happening? All right, I'll just hold on to my seatbelt until and then you get to the end and you're like, this is great.
Yeah.
I'll go with Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
My friends are gonna kill me for that decision.
No, it's a good one, and it, like you said, it definitely feels like those 90s crossovers where you have to buy other titles that you normally don't want to buy. You're like, what the heck? I want to read the rest of Nightfall. I have to buy Birds of Prey. I don't give a shit about Birds of Prey, but you're buying it because you need that new chapter. So yeah, it definitely has that. Like, I got to buy Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't read Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's immersing you in a little bit of all the different titles. And yeah, it reeks of 90s comics. So I agree with that one. So what do you think, Sean?
So movie wise, I think it's been different questions every time, but I feel like 3 different times on the show I had the same answer. So
that's funny. I tried to change them, and then you end up getting stuck with the same ones. So
and it's a different question, but it's always the same answer. So the Dark Knight is always my go-to for that kind of thing, just because I think that's perfection. But the question also was shows, so I was gonna go with the show this time.
Okay.
And I was thinking Preacher, and that show was just nuts, and I thought it was like exactly like the comic. From what I remember, because I read it years before I was watching the show. But I just love that show and how the writers were comic nerds and they wanted to make it as authentic as possible as the comic. So
yeah, that's a good one. I haven't thought about that, but you're right. It definitely changes some of the story beats, but it has the right tone to be just as bonkers as the comic book. Because that's a comic book. I mean, I loved it. I read it in the 90s. That was back when you could actually get a subscription to the comics. So I got Preacher in the mailbox every month because that was when I was in college and it wasn't so easy to access a comic shop. I mean, I could get to one, but it was a trek. But you got a little discount. So yeah, Preacher, that's a good pick right there. So yeah, he's saying Tank Ferret saying Men in Black, and I forget Men in Black did come from a comic book. So good one. So what do you think? What's your pick on this one, Justin?
The comic book movie that I've watched more than once recently was the second Suicide Squad movie. I really found that to be fun and interesting. I love the Suicide Squad concept of here's all the goofy, weird people from back in the day that were kind of shoveling into this. Mm-hmm. So it was a fun concept, and I just really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed the Peacemaker show that followed up on it as well.
Yeah.
I thought John Cena did an amazing job. So that would be my pick, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, both good ones. So what do you think? What's yours, Dees?
Well, my initial instinct for this question was Barbarella, because nothing is better than a 25-year-old Jane Fonda topless floating in zero gravity. Well, really, I kind of had like a couple thoughts on this. I think the best thing that was translated from a comic book, as our commenter just said, was Men in Black. I think that's one of the best examples of a successful IP to movie. I mean, most people didn't realize that was a comic book. It was barely a comic book, but it was, and the IP was done very well, and you know, it's very successful. As far as like translation of something that's considered very comic booky, I think Logan is a great example of something that was a little truer to the actual source material.
Yeah.
And a prime example that goes against something I mentioned earlier of Marvel actually making a choice as well. It was more of Fox. It was still Fox then.
Yeah.
Of Fox deciding to make pick a lane as to who they were marketing this to. They did a hard R, and it paid off by being one of the most successful comic book movies around. And if Marvel would take that same approach now and actually, you know, decide to make R-rated movies or a G-rated movies, whatever, and market to a specific audience, they'd have much more successful movies than just a shoot down the middle. This is for everyone, and ends up being for no one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is they didn't. I mean, they did put a Deadpool out, which they went for the R on that one, but in general, they kind of go for the same lane and also make sure you wedge in your reference to this movie because we need that one to get you know, the connective threads. And Fox, when they did Logan, they weren't worried about the connective threads to whatever the sequel was going to be.
Yeah,
so
and the universe was dead at that point. They knew it was going to be so, but
the X universe had already been destroyed by the last couple movies. Let's see what he's got. All right, Secret Wars. Yeah, I mean, I remember Secret Wars as a kid. I mean, that was when I didn't have a comic shop and I had a 7-Eleven. I had to go pick up all the volumes of Secret Wars from. And that one was, that was exciting, and even now probably unreadable. I've tried to reread some of those 80s crossover things and they do not age well. But when it was coming out, it was kind of, you know, water cooler talk on the elementary playground. So it's like, oh, did you get the new volume of Secret Wars? Did you see the black suit? Holy shit. And it's like the kids, we cared because, I mean, we had to make a special effort to even find it on a spinner rack somewhere because I lived in the high desert. And at that point, there was barely a grocery store, let alone a comic shop. So it was those things that me and my nerdy friends were bonding over. So, yeah, it was at its time, it was great. It's just, it has not aged well at all.
I'll say the Daredevil TV show.
Yeah.
To me, I've always felt like it might be the best adaptation Marvel has done. When you think of like the Frank Miller run and the Bendis run, you can even throw Brubaker in there. Like when you talk about casting, pretty much every part of it is like ripped right from the books. You know, the visceral, you know, rivalry between Matt and Kingpin, and then Bullseye has been pretty good. He's not as flamboyantly crazy, you know, as he is in the comics. But if you're talking like tone and storyline, and I still think I don't know the actor, Charlie Cox might be the best non-Robert Downey Jr. Casting Marvel has done.
That's
I will say I think the Netflix version was great. I think the Born Again has dropped off significantly from the Netflix. It's still good, but God, that Netflix nailed it in a way.
Netflix was so perfect.
Disney's nerfed it a little bit.
They got back this past season. I think they steered back.
Got better. Okay.
Yeah, I know that they had like different showrunner for the first season.
Yeah.
And then they course corrected within that season. And I think they're still trying to course correct, but I think they kind of got.
It's getting better, but those 3 seasons at Netflix were
they're perfect,
unbelievable. I mean that may be an example of one of the best iterations of anything besides Howard the Duck. But
all right, so what is Howard the Duck your pick?
I do have a soft spot for it because I love shitty movies. Like I love a movie that I know is going to be shit. You know? It becomes so bad it transcends bad and comes back to being good. You know, it's better than a movie that. It's why I hate Christopher Nolan because it's like he's so pretentious about his movies, then you're like, yeah, this was a fine movie, but it's not like this thing that he like everything he does has to be like this precious thing. And I'm like, you made a movie. Good job. I don't know.
I love his movies, but I can see what you're talking about, and I think that's what I loved with Peter Jackson when he took on Lord of the Rings. That I know he did Bad Taste, and I know he made Meet the Feebles, and he made these crazy bonkers low budget horror flicks. Then he goes and does a pretentious Lord of the Rings and then disappears. But yeah, I mean, I love his Lord of the Rings, but I'll go back to Dead Alive more than anything because that movie is out of its mind and amazing. So
well, Hellboy is pretty good for an adaptation.
Hellboy's a solid one as well.
Hellboy is a pretty good adaptation. I mean,
yeah,
when you think of like indie books that have been able to cross over in the mainstream, like to me, Hellboy and Spawn are the archetypes for what I think we would all kill for for our properties.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Ninja Turtles is like the ultimate, but I mean that even it's so hard. It's funny because that's been ubiquitous for so long. It just seems mainstream. I think we forget that it started as a 3,000 print run.
Oh, listen,
it started off as this two guys doing it from their garage.
It was a joke, just doing one issue, and then they're like, but no, yeah, I mean, Hellboy and Spawn, besides Ninja Turtles, are probably some of the benchmarks as far as indie comics for sure.
Walking Dead you can throw in there as well.
For sure.
Pretty much anything Kirkman's doing.
Yeah, Kirkman now, everything he touches is gold. And it's like, all right, he's got Walking Dead, he's got Invincible, and really you could retire on that. So
well, it's funny because Invincible wasn't exactly like a best-selling comic book.
No.
The Walking Dead helped Invincible survive long enough to become what it is. And then the cartoon somehow has made the comic books more popular. It's weird.
Now you can't touch those comic books for any kind of decent price, but for a while, you could pick them up pretty easily and pretty inexpensively, and then
you still can actually.
Yeah, maybe
Their
not
trades are like
12, I guess the trades.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing is, The Walking Dead almost didn't survive. The comic book that wasn't going to make it either, and then it's like everything he had just kind of persevered, and now it's all blowing up. So
now he can dive in a Scrooge McDuck money bin, so he's good.
Yeah,
well, that tells you something, right? Like when you think about indie books and what we are all doing, we could be doing this thing for 10, 15 years and just toiling away, and all it takes is one person to basically change your life. And
that one lucky break, and then next thing you know, you're
Seth Rogen, who produced Walking Dead
and Preacher. He did that one as well.
Like all it takes is
and The Boys. So he made Garth Ennis a lot of money and put him on the map. I mean, comic fans knew him, but he put Garth Ennis to this new level. And like you said, it's the right person. Someone has asked me, like, what one person would you love to read your comic book? I'm like, Seth Rogen. I want to hand him the trade of my book because that guy turns indie books into gold. So, that's like the one face you'd love to see. Like, all right, he's probably going to throw it away, but I would love to just hand it to him and hope.
Yeah.
All right. So, for mine, I guess I go with kind of the nostalgia of my childhood, and I'll go with the first Superman, because that movie, I just remember I was already reading comic books. I was reading, the ones you could get collected versions of, and I just was blown away that, here it is, the Superman's flying, and it felt so much like a comic book to me. And I mean, again, I watch it now, it doesn't age the same way, but I watch it with nostalgia glasses, so I love that one. So I think I'd go with that as far as it. But Daredevil's a good pick because it definitely feels like watching the Frank Miller book come to life. Not talking about the Ben Affleck version. That doesn't count.
Oh, come on.
I mean, we all love a little Ben Affleck doing his thing, but it's like it looked right, but it just felt wrong. Where this one looks and feels right. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched the Disney Plus version because the Netflix one was perfect. I'm like, I'm going to pretend that just lives there, but maybe I'll give it a shot.
Only the Daredevil show had a little more Evanescence soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what it's missing.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's perfect, but a little Evanescence could go a long way.
Yes. All right. So we made it through this topic a lot faster. So now we go into our last one. What's a weird quirk that you have when you're writing? So we'll go backwards this time. So Dees, what's a quirk that you have that you need to do when you're writing?
I disable my internet when I'm writing. Listen, the same device I work from should also not have an endless abyss of stepsisters getting stuck in dryers. I need to focus on what I'm doing. It's something I learned a long time ago doing comedy. Someone mentioned when they write, they turn off their internet, and I started doing that. It actually has been very helpful because it's so easy to just, well, let me look at this, or let me look at my email, or look on Facebook real quick, and you can get distracted.
Yeah. Rabbit holes.
Yeah, like laser focus, and just write. Other than that, it's just lots of coffee, and that's about it. Coffee and no internet will work when writing.
I do that too. Airplane mode. I got to throw the phone in airplane mode because inevitably some notification's going to come up, and I'm a friggin' squirrel dog. Like, oh, what's that? Yeah. And next thing you know, like, oh, wasn't I supposed to be writing? I've just wasted an hour, like you said, looking at some mundane bullshit that I don't need to know about. And then I realized I didn't get any writing done. And when I'm working a full-time job. I got to squeeze in writing when I can. And if I go in rabbit holes on the internet, it doesn't work. So I do the same. I slap the phone in airplane mode, no more notifications, and try to focus because there's too many things to break my attention.
Yeah, I also go somewhere a lot. Like I work from home anyways, doing stand-up comedy for a living. I'm home all day. So like, it's easier if I go somewhere, then you're like not around your stuff and you feel like it's actually working. If I'm just at home, I can be like, oh look, all my comic books are here. I'll just look through them, or I'll go, But if you're sitting at a coffee shop or something, you'll focus a little more. So I do that a lot too, where I actually go somewhere and I'm going to sit here for 4 hours and write.
Coffee shops and libraries are my go-to. If I sit here, I will find other things to distract me. I'll look over there and like, ooh, what's that? Let me do the next thing I'm like, I need to clean this damn office, and I'm cleaning instead of writing. So the library or the coffee shop, I walk in and there's nothing from home to distract me. So that's another one I do. So you're getting all my answers. All right. So Justin, what do you do? What's one of your writing quirks?
I do most of my brainstorming in these giant notebooks. They're about this big. So I end up with Lutstrom's have a table of contents, so you can fill it out as you go and stay organized. But it's also insane ramblings of a man with not very good handwriting. And that's very productive for me. That's like the people that are using ChatGTP to plan their stories out. I just do the notebook, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably better anyway. But we don't need to get into that.
It's authentic. We can have a whole day about AI topics, and we'd still be going if that was topic one.
Yeah, so I don't know, but the notebooks would probably be the thing that's relatively unique to me. But I also enjoy going somewhere and getting, like after this, I'm going to go to a beer garden and get a liter of something.
Nice.
And so.
Yep. All right.
Then work.
So I just want to say goodbye. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
I have an event to do.
Do you want to promote real quick?
Yes, real quick. I am still doing pre-orders for my new book, Strong Number 1.
Let me get that up for you real quick. Let me get the visual.
You can get it at visuallystoked.com/strong. If you're a fan of my work, you've read Strong Number 0 about the strongest superhero on the planet. Feel free to please pre-order now. I'm literally about to put in the order for the books on Sunday. It is totally complete. There's no artwork or work that needs to be done. I'm sending it to the printer. Strong Number 1. I'm looking for. It's amazing. I've done everything on it. Thank you so much. I gotta go, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, man. Take care.
Thank you for coming on. And Strong Number One is in the comments. Definitely check it out. All right. So let's see. So, Sean, what's one of the writing quirks you have? I don't know. I got distracted there. So.
Yeah, you're good. So I have two main things, I think. One, to get my like brainstorming out and just figuring out problems that I'm having in the book. I'll go for a run, and that just clears my mind. That's always a good one. And then I just got to make sure when I get to the car, I write it down before I forget it again. But the other thing is actually a little bit of controlled chaos, honestly. Actually helps me write, because if I have too much silence, then my mind will just wander and I'll never actually get anything written down. So if I'm at home, then my kids are normally asleep, but my wife will be watching TV or something. I'm not paying attention to TV. I just hear the noise in the background, and it'll let me focus. Or if I have headphones in, I'll be listening to some kind of music, and the melodies and just the rhythm of the music is the same kind of tone enough to where my mind can still focus and write things down. But I like the coffee shop thing. I haven't done that too much just because of the family and work full time and all that kind of stuff. Can't get out too much. But when I've done it, I'll have the headphones in, or I'll just listen to everybody talking, around me. And that actually helped me focus, which is kind of strange.
Yeah. Some people that would break the concentration.
Yeah. I think I'd learned a long time ago as an assistant manager at my old store. I had to do lunch at my desk, and I wanted to read comics at my desk at lunch, and I couldn't focus with everyone just talking around me. But if I put music in, then all of a sudden I learned a way to focus that way. And so now I just use that in my writing too. So
okay. Yeah. For you guys have taken all my answers. So I have, like Justin was talking about, I have a stack of notebooks about this thick right at my feet, and it's always scrawling in there. And then kind of piggybacking on what Sean said, I do like to go on a run. It kind of clears my head. Whatever bullshit was floating around in there before, it kind of clears it out. And then I get home and I call them my sweat notebooks, which I have it sitting on the kitchen table. I get home after my run and I jot down whatever notes happen to pop up in my head. And you can tell which one is the sweat notebook as opposed to the regular ones. And then, for me, I need to be somewhere else. I can't concentrate at home. And my daughter is the same way. So we have a day every week, even when school's in, that we go to the library because she needs the quiet to concentrate. And so do I. But I also need specific music. So it's kind of like I need some sort of no lyrics post-rock going on. And my go-to used to be Godspeed You Black Emperor. Then they took them off of Spotify. And I'm like, I don't have a CD player on this damn computer. I mean, I have their CDs, I have their vinyl, but that doesn't do me any good in the library. So I've had to find other comparable things. But that's kind of going on what everybody was talking about. So, someone who's not a runner. we know that. We always hear that one.
Do you guys run with headphones, music, or run Raw Dog?
I have to have something on.
Same.
And if it's a writing day, it's the same kind of music that I'm going to use to write. So I want to just kind of get my brain in that mode. And if it's a non-writing day, it's a lot of podcasts. Because
I usually do like a walk during the day for like an hour before I write, or in the middle of the day to kind of break up and I do no headphones because I want my mind to just wander completely, like unadulterated. And it's when I get my best thinking in, because my mind can just like unpack whatever it needs to. And kind of it starts to process things that without any type of influence at all. Just let it go raw and see what happens. So a good walk or run is great to get the juices flowing.
I think so. And that's, for me, I need something on, but I tend to go music without lyrics again when I'm doing a run that's specifically to get some ideas flowing. And sometimes I'll be listening to a podcast and ideas will start bouncing around. It's like, all right, I got to switch to something else, but I can't do silence. I've tried it, and silence doesn't work.
You got to live in it for a while. You got
I mean, I do marathon training. I don't want 4 hours of silence. That just doesn't work for me.
Be kind of boring.
When I travel for comedy, I mean, sometimes I'm driving 4 or 5 hours a day, and I will drive like 5 hours with no music the entire time, and I no podcast, just in silence. And like, it's the first hour or so can get uncomfortable, but then once my brain starts going, like, it frees up something that, you know, is locked up when you have any type of input coming in.
Yeah.
It's like a whole, it's like unlocking another secret level.
Yeah. So there you go. I would say I got to try it, but I know it won't last. I'll be like, I won't make it through that first hour.
Fight through it.
Yeah, because when I know I got a 3.5 hour training run, it's just like the thought of silence. Because even then, it's like a lot of when I do my longest runs, I don't think about trying to get writing done on those ones. So that's podcast days, because it kind of helps the miles melt away faster when my mind is engaged. Or I listen to baseball games now that it's baseball season. I'll play a baseball game, just anything that's not making me think you still have 14 miles left and it's 100 degrees out. This sucks. Like that's all that's going to be going through my mind. I won't get anything done for writing because it's just going to be the misery of the moment. So I have to have something to break away from that.
Hey, misery is pain. Pain is art.
Yeah, so there you go. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I have to, like, you know what? You're 2.5 hours into your 3.5 hour run, and finally the ideas are flowing. So.
It does take that long sometimes, but yeah, no, I get when you're training though. Yeah, you need a little motivation. That's like you're in training mode, not in thinking mode. So that's
And I have I have the notepad on my phone, and I'll be in the middle of a run, and some great ideas will be coming in. Trying to use your phone with sweaty ass fingers, it's not great. I wrote down all these really good ideas and then accidentally deleted them all because a drip of sweat pressed the button and deleted them. I'm like, all right, this is not good. But I'm many miles away from my sweat notebook, so this is my only choice. So
then you just gotta like try to convince yourself they were bad ideas.
Yeah, like they didn't matter.
That thing where you're like, no, that sucked anyway, and you're just mad.
Yeah. The sweat did me a favor.
Yeah, you're gonna pretend it was okay.
All right. So we have made it through our topic. So let's start promoting our stuff. So I'm gonna go in here, and now is what I like to call the squinty portion of the show because I cannot see for shit. Small print is not my friend, and let me get rid of Javon's. And yeah, I know he had told me he needed to go and he put it in the private chat, but we were going and I didn't look. So apologies to Javon on that. And hopefully people head out and check out his book, but let's check out The Fog Within. Let me see here. All right. So this is issue 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you just did the trade. So this is second story arc, I'm assuming.
Yep. Oh,
All right. So let me make sure. All right. So tell us about The Fog Within.
Yeah. So The Fog Within, this is the second arc. In the first arc, we learn as Hunter's learning about this new future. So the town of Brooks in the present had a catastrophic event that happened. A couple of days later, he goes on a run. Go figure. And he runs through some fog and ends up 26 years in the future. Doesn't know how he got there. The world has changed. We found out the infection, or there was an infection from this cataclysmic event. The government didn't know what to do with it, so they walled off the town of Brooks. And this regime comes in place, and it's called Schism. And Damon rules with an iron fist. Rebels come from this, and they're trying to get out of his rule and get out of the city. And they know of this prophecy while Hunter has been gone for these 26 years that someone's going to come from fog and save them. And they think Hunter is the one that's going to save them. And he has no idea what he's doing. So the first arc we've learned with Hunter about he has this ability. The fog came from within. And he's learning about his ability. He has something happen in issue 3 that propels the story to going to Schism's base, and something, a huge fight goes on and something goes wrong. but they get out. And now this starts the new arc of they're trying to rebuild from that. They trusted him as the one to save them in the first arc. Now they're not sure. They're leery of his leadership abilities, and he's trying to build back that trust that he initially had. And we're also learning in issue 5 of Damon, really his backstory and why he does what he does, which is cool. So I haven't had too much of Damon in the story. He is the big bad. He does some terrible things to some of his own guys and to some of the rebels, but we don't know too much of why he's doing what he's doing. So the second arc is really leaning on his background and why he thinks he's doing the best thing for Brooks, the town that he's ruling over, and we go from there. So we're building back up the story to eventually issue 8 of the end of this arc, and it's been a lot of fun. And it was my first goal in comics is to have a complete arc in a trade. Yes. And I've done that now, and now I'm continuing on, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And it's a 90s feel, sci-fi action. There's a lot of mystery involved. We still haven't learned of why the fog is there. We found out more about the fog in general, but now we need to find out why they're there on Earth. Nice. So yeah, the mystery continues.
So how many issues is it planned for?
Yeah, so I originally was planning and still planning 12 issues. So it'd be 3 arcs of 4. And each storyline will be a slightly different feel too. So we're definitely leaning more on sci-fi action in the first with superhero kind of stuff, and we're leaning a little bit less on that in this arc, and then there'll be a totally different feel in the third arc to finish it off too.
Very cool. Yeah, looking forward to that. I'm enjoying the series. I just got the trade, and yeah, now ready to dig into issue 5. So
yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats on getting a trade, because that's not easy. And I think that's when we were talking earlier about, getting kids interested. I think one of the biggest obstacles that indie comics have is not completing. Yeah. So a kid could buy a book, they love it, they want more, and then that author's like, I can't afford this shit anymore, and I'm out. And there's no completion. So when you get to that first trade and beyond, you build that trust with your audience. They know that you're not just gonna, get them excited and run. It's like those, countless TV shows you've got invested in a first season and then you find out it's canceled. So getting that trade out, getting beyond that shows people, I'm here. I'm gonna, one way or another, I'm gonna tell this full story. So yeah, I love that you're doing that, because as we can all attest to in this room, it's not easy. So,
nope. But it's very gratifying for sure.
Oh yes, absolutely. I will agree with that. So, Justin, throw your link in the private chat, and so I can get to that. But first up, let's get to Kill Stan. So let me open that up. All right. So tell us a little bit about Kill Stan.
All right. This is issue number 4 of Kill Stan. It is a 10-issue series. It's a neo-noir crime thriller, a suicidal ride through a vigilante's last stand. It's a story about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. But really, it's a character piece about one man's journey of loss, trauma, and the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for. Yeah, we've got number 4 here. We've got some cool rewards. We're also doing a trade paperback of the first 4 issues on this. You can buy single issues or get all 4 collected. Oh,
nice.
I am doing it in the digest size. So we're doing the compact size.
Okay.
Trade paperback. And I'm going to have those. I was going to wait till number 5, but number 4 is kind of a good, because it's a 10-issue series. I was going to do 5 and 5, but really number 1 through 4 is kind of the first arc. And then number 5 through 10 is kind of the end. So I'm like, I'll break it up. There's no rules for me. And then also I wanted to get a trade on the rack.
It makes a big difference when you're doing cons. I can tell you that much. Doing the digest size, I think will make a difference. So I'm going to get those out with this, so you guys can get individual issues
You can get digital downloads, or you can get trade paperback, collected edition,
Nice.
4 issues. So, and this issue is, I hesitate to say an origin issue, but we do get a little bit of backstory, which has been the biggest question I've been getting, of why Stan wants to end his own life, why he got to where he got. We get a little peek behind the curtain with number 4, as we get a preview of what was happening in his life before he put on the mask and went out, hit streets.
Nice. All right. So that is available now. Like trade, you'll be pleasantly surprised when you do a con with that on the table, because but the biggest things that sell at my table are volume 1 of Immortal Era and issue 1. So people will still want issue 1. Yeah, they don't know if they're ready to commit to a whole trade, but if you have the digest size and it's affordable, people will dive right in for that. Yeah. So that's available there. And then let's see.
Yeah, I think we're about $600 away from goal right now, and about 23 days to go, I think. So, yeah, guys. So, but there's lots of cool rewards still on there. I've got some exclusive covers. We're doing blind bags where we do one-of-a-kind covers on those books. And we've got some sketch covers that I'll do a custom sketch on the cover of, some CGC 9.8s of number 1 signature.
Okay.
Things like that. All kinds of cool rewards. So there's still a bunch of stuff up there for grabs.
Yeah.
People.
And CGCs are also a good thing on the table. I have my people, I call them my prospectors, and they come and they just want to get that CGC book because they think, oh, if this gets made into a movie, I'm going to get rich one day. And
yeah.
You hope the best for them, because if they get rich, so do you.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
So that's one of those things where they tell me that, yeah, if I would have bought the first copy of this or this, and I would have had so much money now. I'm like, well, I hope one day that I see this on eBay and see you making a mint. So yeah, that means that both of us are in a good place. So let me get the next one up. And I moved your spot so you don't end up buried by your own book. All right. So we have SWAT.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, tell us about SWAT.
SWAT's kind of, I guess the elevator pitch is What We Do in Shadows meets The Wire. It's basically, starts out with Larry Slaughter, who is basically a guy who survived a school shooting back in the day and has become a cop, and he's struggling with his job. It's a horror comedy type thing where it's about his sort of, he feels very disillusioned. He's very tired, and he's trying to sort of grapple his way back into feeling like his life, he's doing good. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we start with. Specifically, the plot for the first arc is that they have to fire somebody on the team, and this is what you're seeing here. Is kind of a take on the 80s action movie thing where the police captain's screaming. It just hates the main character for no reason. But he has plenty of good reasons for hating Larry. He's kind of an asshole. But anyway, so they decide, instead of firing somebody, they call in a tip on a vampire they know has a bunch of bodies in his yard. And that creates a red ball situation that sort of spirals out. And that spiraling is, I've written 36 issues of it, and that spiral continues all the way to the end of 36.
Wow.
So it becomes completely unhinged and not remotely. You would never have seen it coming. But this is the start of a whole chain of events that leads to some pretty major stuff. So
nice.
It's already done. So basically, we're at almost 80% done with a week left. I think we're going to make it.
Yeah.
So you'll get your copy. If you get the digital copy, you'll get it instantly. I've already uploaded it to Kickstarter, and then it should just be a matter of mailing it, Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. I don't know what that means, though. Is that
CGC? That's graded books. And if you go to CGC, if they're at a con that you happen to be at, you can go and get an artist account, so you can get yellow labels, because that people don't want the purple labels. Those things are dreaded. So you get a yellow label, you have a signature series of your book, and it just gets new eyes on your table. You get people who would have always walked by your table because you're in a sea of people that have great indie books, and it's one of those things you can do to stand out. I have a little rack of CGC books, and I get people who will just kind of shoot straight to those. They don't want to hear my elevator pitch. They don't want to talk. They see, oh, you have a number one, and they start asking you things like, oh, what's the print count on this? And they ask all these questions because they're thinking, they're just seeing dollar signs. And if you can make them think, yeah, these dollar signs, this is a low print. And I'll even tell them like, oh, if you're looking for a low print, you should go for one of these variants. These are numbered out of 25. And you just see them, they get that look in their eyes like, oh, this is going to be my retirement fund right here. And you hope they're right. But it's just a way to bring more eyes to your table. Cause I started doing it when I only had about 3 issues out, because it's hard to make a table look really interesting when you have 3 books to put on it and some stickers and stuff like that. So it was a little rack of graded books and a variant binder, just whatever it takes to get those eyes to stop instead of going to your neighbor who looks a little bit better and they just walk right past you. So
yeah, it becomes a little more, your table becomes a little more robust, and also you get a little more credibility, it looks like, because it appears like you have this catalog of stuff, and graded books is a little higher end. What I do with the easiest way to do it is you can just email CGC and they'll send you a form that you verify it's your signature and you're like an artist, and then you just sign your book and send it in. It's going to cost you $55 probably. And then you can pre-screen for certain grades. I always pre-screen for 9/8, and I've never gotten a 9/8 back. I think when it comes to like an artist sending their own book in, I feel like they're probably a little lenient because they're like,
I don't know. I got a couple 9.2s. So
oh, did you?
That was from issue 1, and there was a point in time when they were so many people would come to the table and all they wanted was a first print number 1. Yeah. So I actually went hunting through comic shops that I had sold to, and I'm like, hey, if they're not selling, I'll buy them back. So they had sat on a rack. They weren't in great shape, but I throw a very high price tag on it, and it's like, all right.
What are you selling them at? Can I ask you what you're selling them at, Ed?
I sell mine now. The perks of getting an artist account is you get a reduced grading cost. It only costs you $20 to grade any books and get the signature series on them. So that's why you want to get that. So I have to pay about $20 to grade, and I sell 9/8 for $65 for the standard cover and $75 for the variant.
Oh, that's super good.
I've pulled a few 9/9s, and those ones I put $150 price tag on, and all of them have sold. Like some people don't even collect books; they collect grades, and 9/9s being a more rare grade to get. People will buy a 9/9 just to own a 9/9 because you don't find that many of them in the wild. So, and I have a guy who's told me, if you get a 10, I'll pay you $1,000 on the spot. And I've now had 5 9/9s, but haven't pulled that 10.
You need to talk to someone at CGC, and I'll feel like I'll pay you $500 for a 10.
Yeah, we'll split it. I mean, if it's a 9/9, really, what's the difference between that and a 10? What minute, tiny detail, or do you just not want to give a 10? I think that's more them saying this is perfect, but we're going to be super greedy with those 10s. And he's offered me that, and I know he's good for it because he's the one that's bought all my 9/9. So
So if you just mailed them a stack of comics straight from the printer that's still in the saran wrap or the bubble wrap that no human has ever touched, that's not a guaranteed 9/9.
No. I mean, I get them, and I sent in like this rack. The last batch I sent in 25 new books, and my wife looked at them. I had a comic shop owner secondarily look at them, and every book was a 9/8, 3 9/9s, and then a random 9/6. So it's kind of like, it goes to show that mailing, it could have got dinged in the mailing, and it's going to drop it down. And usually we keep the lowest grades. I'm like, I'm here with a business. I'm not going to say I want those 9/9s for myself, because in the end, it's it's my book, and if someone wants to give me $150 for it, I'm good. But like if I have first prints of issue 1, I threw a $250 price tag on a 9.6, and someone's like, well, why do you think it's worth that much? I said, well, I only printed 500. I just had to go hunt these down from a comic shop and go ahead and try to find a first print of issue 1. Look on eBay, look wherever you want. You won't find one. Oh, okay, I'll buy it. It's like you just you convince them that this is what they need, and those kind of collectors want it. And then, like I say, some they're just 9.9 collectors, and then there's people who just collect 10s. They don't care what book is a 10, they just want it. That's why he offered me from the very first day I had CGCs on the table. If you ever get a 10, I'll pay you $1,000. Here's my phone number, so you know I'm not just messing around with you. So yeah, it's a whole market, and I recommend getting in there. But set up the artist account because it does drop your grading fee down.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, lots of things, and then just diversifying your table is what you want to do, because whatever you can do to get eyes there, because books, everyone's got books. Stickers, everyone's got stickers. What don't they have? They don't have CGCs, or I have a little plushie on my table. It's not for sale, but it stops people like, ooh, cool, it's a Cthulhu plushie. What's that from? I'm like, oh, that's from this anthology right here. So you just, whatever it takes. That's a question for another day. I think next week we'll talk about what can you do to make your table stand out at a con. And graded, they're definitely one of the things. Just don't get the purple label, because the prospectors don't want to touch the purple label because it says written on by. So you want signed by, not written by. All right. Okay. So all of the links are in the chat, and I will do a separate Facebook post later on today with all of the links. And as always, I back everyone who comes on the show. So once we're done with here, I'll get on there. But seeing as I don't want my credit card information thrown on YouTube, I will do it after the show. But I will do a little shameless self-promotion because I have Immortal Era number 12 in pre-launch right now. It's launching July 3rd. So where is that hiding at? Okay, so we'll get to. This is Immortal Era 12 and the trade. So we're going to do both together, kind of like Deese is doing. So it'll have, you can buy the single issue for my floppy collectors, and you can also buy the hardcover or softcover trade. So Immortal Era, it is a story set in a post-apocalyptic world, 200 years in the future, where everyone has become immortal. But with their immortality, they didn't get powers or abilities. They still age, still get sick. There's a character in the story who's just a decapitated head, forced to live on for an eternity. And that's why a group of heroes are trying to find a way to bring death back into the world and save humanity by killing them. And this is the halfway point of the book. We're going to do 24 issues of the story. This is issue 12, so we're hitting our halfway point. And this is where I've said all along, I blow up the world. So everything changes in the world. Nothing's going to be the same after this. And the kind of talking about how each arc's going to be a little bit different. This arc, the third story arc, will start where we're at, because seeing as we're in volume 2 and issue 12, I ended on a cliffhanger. I'm like, all right, if you've hung on this far, you're okay with the cliffhanger to end out this story arc. And then the next story arc, we will move into fully new settings and meet new characters along the way. So this is the cover for the soft cover trade. Oh wait, no one's seeing shit, of course. So here we go. Here is the cover for the soft cover trade. So this one will be for our soft cover of issue 7 through 12. This will be the holofoil issue. This is the cover for the hardcover trade. And then this will be our variant cover. Our main cover is still being worked on right now. So this will be, you can get it floppy, you can get all the different variants if that's what you like, and you can continue your hard or soft cover trades, because I know some people who tell me, they go to my table, they're like, I'm just waiting for the new volume, I'm not going to buy floppy. So it's like, all right, well, I got you covered now. So that is out in pre-launch right now, launching on July 3rd, and we'll have a launch show on this channel when the time comes. So more information about that to come. But if you can, please give it a follow, because I'm sure that it matters for Kickstarter. We've had debates. Does it actually matter how many pre-launch followers you get? And I don't know, but if they say I should, then I will.
Yeah, they say it matters. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to. It can't hurt.
Yeah.
And if you follow, it does not cost you a penny. So you have no obligation. If you want to follow just to pity me, I'm cool with that. Just, you know, that doesn't mean now that I'm going to be chasing you down. I'm not sending someone to your house with a baseball bat to take out your knees if you don't back. All you got to do is follow, and that's the end of it. And, you know, hopefully we get some people that want to buy the book afterward. But if you follow it with no intention to buy, I still appreciate you sharing out. That's another thing you can do. Share these titles, share these books. Let people know that they exist, because maybe you don't want it, but one of your friends, it's going to be right up their alley. So the power of sharing is always there. So definitely, please, as he says, smash that like button or smash that follow button. Let people, you know, and share it out to your friends, because maybe this book is for them and maybe one of your books is for them. So I'll be sharing that later today on my Facebook. So we have come to the end. Thank you all for coming on. And Justin, where can we find you online?
My website's weirdshark.art. You can check that out. It's got some samples from various things. I'm also Justin Koch at bluesky.social or whatever. There's not a lot of Justin Kochs. There's a guy who was the head of the New Zealand Sheepers Association a while ago. There was a horse in Vancouver. It's not a common name. So I'm on Facebook as well, but Blue Sky is probably where I'm most active.
Okay. And what about you, Sean? Where can we find you online?
So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, sort of. I'm on Blue Sky, sort of TikTok, sort of Reddit, just anywhere I can possibly just put it out there. And I'm typically under Sean Wood _writer.
Nice. So where can we find you, Dees?
For the comic book, everything's inferno.earth. That's the website. There's no .com. .earth is the domain. Inferno.earth on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use that account because boomers don't buy my comic book. And I have a TikTok account, but I haven't used it yet either because I just too old to begin the training. But I'll probably trying to farm that out to someone soon. Or you can follow me at dees.comedy on Instagram, all that stuff too. If you like jokes, I'll be somewhere near you telling jokes soon, probably.
Yes.
So
maybe maybe your show won't get canceled when
maybe my show is, next time. Coming back soon. I'll do something in your backyard.
That's cool. You were almost there, and then you're like, whoops, got canceled.
Sorry.
So that's all right. I'll wait. Now the anticipation's higher though, so I don't know. You gotta,
right.
gotta bring your A game.
Welcome to my dating life. Everyone gets let down. No one walks away happy.
That's funny. All right, so you can find me, Finish Line Comics, on all the different socials, and please hit that follow button for Immortal Era number 12. So until then, have a great rest of your weekend. I'll be back on Wednesday, where Dash and I will be covering the new Death Cab for Cutie album. So tune in for that on First Impressions. And next Saturday, we'll be back with a new group of guests and some new topics. And until then, have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
If you missed the live viewing of any Meg production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. Madness Entertainment Group.